the IGR Oscars, so to speak. But as an IGR alum and former IGR staff member, I'm happy to be here to celebrate Commencement Week with its mixture of enthusiasm and apprehension for all graduates. As IGR facilitators, you've experienced one of the finest social justice education programs in higher education. And it's wonderful that you are here celebrating your accomplishments today, but also doing so in community. And as part of the broader community that you are a part of now, and I hope you'll continue to engage with, that I hope to address. Many of you know dialogic pedagogy backwards and forwards. You could essentially turn Peggy McIntosh's knapsack inside and out, and you could rhetorically spin social identity wheels with both hands backwards and forwards. Don't undervalue the fact that you have distinguished skills and intercultural competency in dialogue facilitation. I also today want to address the looming question and all the excitement and anxieties that come with it of what happens next after IGR. So basically, in my many years, I've seen two sets of responses to graduation from graduates. There's the millennial who graduated before 2008 response, which can be summed up as, oh my gosh, work is going to be amazing, I'm going to love my job, it's going to be like going to summer camp every day, I'm going to work at 4 NGOs, build my own startup, open a part-time microfinance institute in Ipsy with Taryn and Patrick, be a social media marketing director, save the world with my music, and retire by 40. On the other end of the spectrum, away from this ungrounded optimism, there is a different approach. There's the fear that after 4 years of fun, growth, friendship, activism, and social justice involvement, students might have to give a large part of that up as they enter the occupational and financial realities of being in the labor market full time. There's the fear of having to sell out, work 80 hours a week for Goldman Sachs, and no longer having opportunities for critical conversations of privilege, power, and difference. Let me reassure you that a lot of this anxiety is unfounded. There are many vocational opportunities to continue to engage in social justice work and activities. There are vibrant careers in public service, private foundations, research institutes, community organizations, social businesses, and of course higher education. And it's very exciting to hear that many of you have your fingers on the pulse of social enterprise in particular. And yet, some of this graduation anxiety is grounded. While there are many organizations that address social justice initiatives, they don't always use the same vocabulary as IGR. Many organizations advance social justice at the institution level, but their efforts at the structural and individual level have much to be desired. There are, in fact, for-profits that have great impact on social equity. There are organizations where you can be profoundly impactful in pro bono work on the side. And there are nonprofits that are, at best, ineffective or self-serving, to say the least. There are also jobs that sound fantastic on paper and as advertised on idealist.org, but may not pay a living wage. Very rarely will you come across a job that will have social justice in the title. I think Charles Bailing, the old co-director of IGR, used to boast that only when he was at IGR as co-director did he actually finally have social justice in his job title. I want to give an example that one of my mentors at Amnesty International had spent 6 years working with corporate law before she began her work doing advocacy for refugee populations. And those 6 years were one of the best years in her life as they set her up for being able to do what she wanted to do and to be standing on a firm financial foundation. At different stages in your career, your social justice pursuits might be vocational or they might be avocational. Avocation refers to passions and pursuits outside of your occupation. The nature and extent to which you engage in social justice will shift. And as a wise sage and activist who couldn't be here today, former DJ Mercury at Necto Ballroom, Roger Fisher. Yeah, a little known fact, he used to be the DJ at Mercury from 1986 to 1990. Google DJ Mercury, your mind will be blown. Quote, DJ Mercury Fisher. Chairperson, when I was younger, I used to think of social justice as a sprint. I had the urgency to do as much as I could as fast as possible. Every second mattered. And I saw those who did not share my frantic pace as somehow complacent in the system or morally aloof. When I got older, I realized I was going to burn out. And I saw that social justice was more like a long-distance race. Then, I saw it as a marathon. And finally, I now see it increasingly as a relay race. At different points in the race, at different points in your life, you might be in possession of the baton, you might be on the sidelines cheering, you might be coaching people who are running the race, or taking a well-deserved and necessary rest. All actors serve their purpose on the mosaic of social justice at every point in this relay race. So with that in mind, I want to congratulate you again. You are shortly going to become college graduates of a major American university in 2014. And within that one sentence, you now have a new social identity as college graduates. There's tremendous privilege, power, and agency within that social identity. Indeed, consider each stage in your life and career what impact you can make in whatever context you're in, whether that's institutionally working for social change, or finding yourself working a job to meet certain domestic and financial necessities. I want to end by emphasizing the importance not just of the content of IGR, but also, as Mark Chesler alluded to, its emphasis on connectivity, because I want to encourage you all to stay in touch with people to your left and your right in this room. IGR is a great program, not only because of its content, but because of its emphasis on relatedness. We had an alumni event in Chicago a few months ago, and it was fascinating that there were people who were 5, 10, 15, 20 years out of the IGR program. Many of whom had never met each other before. We had an instant bond and instant connection. Many of us were able to share the memories we had with our co-facilitators, or these aha moments we saw in participants that have stayed in our memories individually all of these many years later. To borrow from the discourse of neuroscience, and forgive me, Maya, for totally being reductivist here, IGR's pedagogy seeks not only to engage our rational neocortex, but we form deeper limbic connections to other people. These emotional connections are formed across identity groups. And in IGR, relatedness is both a goal in and of itself, is both a means to an end and an intrinsic goal in and of itself. And in a very digitized, individualistic culture, the ability to have face-to-face, meaningful connections across groups, to have active listening, that is an invaluable, increasingly rare skill set that you should give yourself credits for. So today, the IGR Oscars, congratulations all around. And I'm going to end with a message from the two IGR alumni co-chairs who could not be here today, but send me their dues. This is from Stacy Daniel Summers and J. Patrick Hobb, alumni co-chairs. Congratulations on your graduation from the University of Michigan. During your time at U of M, you have educated yourselves and others about important issues that greatly impact our world. And as you continue in this new part of your journey, we hope you take all the knowledge and resources you gained as a student with IGR and engage in meaningful action to promote equity and peace in our society. You will not be alone in this work. The Program on Intergroup Relations Alumni Committee seeks to connect IGR alums across the world and provide space for continued dialogue, action, and support. Please consider joining the IGR Alumni Committee to help with programming that provides us with the structure to stay connected. They provide an email address we'll be sending out, and also keep in touch with LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And Stacy and Brandon say thank you so much for your commitment to social justice at the university. Stay in touch and forever go blue. Cheers.